Seahawks, we just mentioned them. They played the 49ers, had a close one, really good defensive performance. And I actually thought the offense played fine. Maybe we want to see them take a next step. But let's start when the Seahawks have the ball, Charles. What are you focused on in this game? Because this is the Steelers' defense wasn't as tenacious as I was maybe expecting in week one. So feel kind of the same.
I mean, they were terrible. I don't think it's tenacious. They were
I was being nice. Not as tenacious. Yeah, I know. Justin Fields had a great
64%, 64% drop back success rate. Like, you got killed, bro. Like, that's and
career high.
We've been right, and we've been excited about Justin Fields, but like, that's Justin Fields. He shouldn't be getting 64% drop back success rate against you. So I think if you're Seattle, and looking at last week, what happened with the Steelers, like, you should be looking at this like, hey, maybe this could be like the first breakout performance like for our offense, just because of how much they struggled. The Seattle last week, they ranked ninth in success rate for the week among all offenses against, what was the 31st ranked defense in terms of success rate last week, with 53.1% against the Jets offense last week for the Steelers. So like, if you want to be a team that runs the ball, the Jets, they kind of gave you a formula for it, even if Sam Darnold isn't the same level of athlete as Justin Fields. Like, there's obviously room for them to gash them. And I think what was a little bit surprising for me with the Steelers defense against the Jets was how soft they were up front. Like, they got mashed a lot of times. I thought Keanu Ben did not have a good game. Cameron Hayward looking a little old. TJ Watt was chasing the cheese on everything, bro, and just letting Justin Fields get out the pocket. So, if you play like that undisciplined, it doesn't have to be a zone read style offense like that. Like, if you're that undisciplined, any offense can get you any week. So I think this could be a big breakout game for the Seahawks. On offense, just because I think the Steelers defense look really slow. And I think where Matt Harmon, our fellow co-host, was saying this summer, where, hey, Steelers defense, they're pretty old. Like, this is a defense that's got guys that's long in the tooth, and we'll see what happens. And week one was not good. So I think if you're Seattle, you probably just want to mash the ball and see what happens and build your play action stuff on top of it.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that kind of game. But no, that's a great point. It's about being long in the tooth. And the young players, which is like their linebackers, they're just like going the wrong way. Like, they're both really fast, but they like played slow. It felt like last week, that means they're thinking. If a guy runs a freaking 4.5 and looks like he's running a 4.9, that means he's thinking too much. But what you said is, like, I think the Seahawks match up perfectly against this Jets or the Steelers defense, which was not, maybe what I thought. I thought it'd be maybe a overmatched Seahawks front, but this is what the Clint Kubiak Shanahan offense, where you have this kind of raised floor with the zone runs. So like, the Steelers let their Jets run all over them, and I was expecting it to be all like gun runs, which there were some, but then they were just going under center, outside zone, under center, inside zone. And last week I looked this up on FTN because they actually have run concepts you can sort through. There's a little noise with their power ones. They include pin pull there, but that's just for me to get annoyed at. But anyways, zone runs are accurate. 31 attempts last week against the Steelers defense just on zone runs. 139 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, and a touchdown. It was the most zone runs of the week. 23 was the next high. No one else was like over 17. 45% success rate. And we know what Kubiak's all about. Zone. And I thought the Seahawks O-line looked good running. Like, running the ball was good, statistically and eye test. The right guard's a little iffy. But everybody else in the run game looked really good. Gray Zabel looks like he might be like a rookie Pro Bowler. Like, he looks so good.
Yes, he's awesome.
And he's great. I was actually like going through and like, okay, waiting for him. He didn't really have a negative play. Like, he had, neutral plays, but like, I don't know. I didn't see any real negatives with him. Pass protection, they're a little leaky in some areas, but that's not what this team's built to do. They're trying to go zone run, boot, play action. Not a ton of play action last week, but zone runs, 5.1 yards per carry last week on zone runs, 55% success rate. I mean, you said it, like they got the formula and they can just do it.
I didn't look this up. I meant to look this up. I forgot, but it felt like play action was kind of down like week one. I don't know. It just felt like teams weren't running out. Cause I know like the Falcons, they didn't run it like barely at all in their game against Tampa Bay. Didn't seem like Tampa Bay was even running it at all. Right. So I found that to be a little interesting that teams weren't running it that much week one, but maybe we'll see how it goes.
I've noticed the same thing, Charles McDonald. Yeah, and some of that's I meant to tweet this, but like the Rams, I would go nuts about the Rams doing the under center drop back stuff and with no play action, which more teams are doing. Caleb Williams had an under center quick game 3-step drop, and he went 1 through 5 on the read, and then it was incomplete because he was throwing it away. But it was just one of those where I was like, I got pretty excited watching Caleb Williams do an under center quick game 1, 2, 3. It's rare. It's rare these days, but we're seeing more and more of it. So yeah, no, that's a great observation. But the Seahawks didn't run a lot of play action. I was actually surprised by that too. Yeah. And I think this is a good week for you. You just mentioned TJ Watt taking the cheese. That's what bootlegs do. You're taking advantage of a DN crashing down hard. You're also risking unblocked TJ Watt. If he reads it right, he's killing the quarterback. So that's the risk of it. What do you think about the Seahawks passing game? It's very JSN heavy. It's basically, he's like, they only threw it to him and a little bit of Cooper Kupp and then like a smattering of other guys. But did anyone catch more than one pass besides JSN? Because I don't think anyone had more than 2 or 3. If it was like Jason had 13 targets, Kupp had 3, and I think everybody else had 1 or 2.
Right. So that was
that's a funnel right there.
Yeah, that did give me some alarm because that doesn't seem very sustainable. You know, if we're going to give Jason, you just need one other person to pop. And I mean, I just don't think it's really feasible for Cooper Kupp to be that guy. I mean, he even just give me the tape. He's a tight end now, right? So if you're looking at just like the receptions this week, Jason had 9 for 124. Then Kenneth Walker was actually second in receptions with 3 for 4 yards. And there's Cooper Kupp with 2 for 15, and Elijah Arroyo and AJ Barner each had 1 apiece. Someone else has got to step up there. That's going to be really, really difficult to do for 17 games. It'd be a lot of fun if you're a Jason fantasy owner. If you're going to get 13 to 17 targets a game, depending on what the volume is that week.
That's it.
For him he got 13 targets on 23 dropbacks. That's insane. So hopefully they can find someone else because over 50%. It's a little limited. It's a little limited. And I think the concerns that we talked about with JSN and Kupp like on the field at the same time, but you kind of saw that game 1 because Cooper can't really do much of anything right now. And that was more like the hype around that was more just like, oh, here's a name that you've heard before. They've been the NFC West that's kind of tormenting your team for a few years, but it's not the Cooper Kupp of old. So hopefully if they can get one of these like guys that's got a little bit more speed on the outside going as the season progresses, but I'm sure that they know that and they're looking at this and saying, all right, that wasn't probably the best start for our passing game, but certainly not end all be all. I thought Sam Darnold played all right for what he was given. JSN had a nice game, but still needs some more guys to contribute in the passing game, and that will even just open more things up for the running game. And this is a good week to get that off because wow, Pittsburgh, that was bad week 1.
You get it. I know. Torrey Horton, he's got some vertical speed. I was curious because Slay is very gettable, and so I maybe see a little double move with Torrey Horton or something of that sort. But I agree. Someone else has to get more than 2 catches in this offense. It's just a little. I love JSN. He's playing great. Yeah, but they know what Kupp is right now. They're basically using him as a tight end. Other side of the ball. What do you think about the Aaron Rodgers experience, and what do you think about the Seahawks defense? There might be top defense, I think, this year.
Yeah, dude, they were. It's funny because like their overall like EPA stats weren't like super great, but just like watching them play, I was like, oh no, this is still one of the best defenses in the league. Like the way that they were able to punch the 49ers in the mouth really throughout the game. I mean, the 49ers were held to 36 rushes, 119 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. With a long of 13. So when you're doing that, that's a good job of keeping things in front of you. And honestly, man, I kind of thought like I thought Brock Purdy played a pretty decent game. I thought the touchdown like in the corner towards the end was a little fluky, but a little fluky. Yeah.
It's so funny because the plays that he gets praised on aren't even the best plays. His best plays are like these other little plays in between are his best plays, which I think is always funny about Purdy.
Yeah, those are the plays that make me say, some quarterbacks are just touched by God, and they get to live a little bit of a charming life. But I thought against San Francisco's offense, I thought they did a pretty good job for the most part, except you kind of get unlucky there. at the end. So I wouldn't even really be concerned about. I think they rank like 20th or 21st in EPA per play or success rate this week. Not really a big deal. I think when you go back and watch the tape, you don't really have too many concerns that this is going to be like a leaky unit or anything. Just, you just didn't win game one and you got kind of unlucky there at the end of the game. But I still thought they did a really nice job of, keeping like non-Ricky Pearsall stuff like in front of them because he was able to get loose a couple times for some big gashers. And that's probably what he's going to be doing all year. Like he looks pretty good, but still. Yeah. Seattle's defense, like you should be holding on this. Like this is still a really, really good unit. Their front seven is, absolutely monstrous against the run. And I think like, as the season goes along, they'll figure out like how they want to better utilize their personnel. But still, this is a really good defense, I think, that honestly should give Pittsburgh some problems up front,
Yeah.
They're better. They're more talented. Yeah, they got size. They're better than the Jets are to me in terms of like totality. So I think that this isn't going to be quite as easy for Aaron Rodgers, where he's dropping back and throwing for 4 touchdowns, and DK Metcalf is running wide open. So I think that they have a better. I think they have a statistical performance that matches more of their overall quality to me this week.
Yeah. Like this one actually gives you the actual stuff that fills the box scores. No, I agree. I think they match up well. A lot of what the Steelers, God, it's so hard with Rodgers because I always want to say Jets, and then they played the Jets, but it's the Steelers when watching that game. Is he had the underneath stuff to DK, and DK made some guys miss. I think the Seahawks are a really good tackling team, so I think that's not going to be as easy. The Jets are, under Aaron Glenn, they can be pretty simplistic as far as coverages, quarters and man, and so that's pretty easy for a vet quarterback to find some decent answers. You're going against the Seahawks, who that's Mike Macdonald's thing. He runs everything under the sun, and now it's year 2. So you're seeing these kind of new layers they're throwing in, some rotation stuff. I thought the front for the Seahawks, just like everybody had moments. Like Leonard Williams looked like second, like we know how last year, the second half, he looked like defensive player of the year, Leonard Williams. That's how he looked in week 1, like actually dominant. DeMarcus Lawrence looked great. Byron Murphy had some nice plays. Jerron Reed had some plays. And then Boye Mafe is like a terror right now. Like he got Trent Williams a couple times, had a bunch of pressures. He's looking very, very good as an edge rusher. And Mike Macdonald brings the simulated pressures with the best of them. Like, and that's what I think can get Rodgers. I mean, if you remember last year when they played, he got him when he was with the Jets, where they dropped somebody in the coverage, dropped somebody into the hot throwing lanes, only bring 4. Zach Frazier is a very good center, can help sort that out. But, Rodgers kind of likes his traditional answer. So I'm curious if Macdonald kind of throws a little something at him. But I think this can be a fist fight on that side of the ball because Steelers are going to run the ball too. Like that's the other thing. Stop him. Hopefully they play Caleb Johnson so I can see a little bit of that, please.
Same. Like put him in the game, please. Put him in the game.
Just 4 touches. That's it. 4
how bad could it be?
Just I want to see it. I know. It's like I get it. Rodgers is all. He gets whiny about pass protection, and then his vet running back actually has botches of protection. So it's like great job.
And look, I have to come forward and say I am someone who took Caleb Johnson in the first round of a dynasty draft this year. So we could get more than 1 carries. That would be great. That would be great.
That matters to you, dang it. All right, final prediction for this game: Steelers are 3-point favorites at home.
I think the Seahawks win. Yeah, I was about to say win and cover, but obviously you're underdogs and you win, you cover. So yeah, I think the Seahawks win.